What's going on, South Mississauga? Boy, do I have an amazing video for you coming up. And for those who tried to sell and couldn't or are thinking of selling, I want you to pay extra close attention to what I have for you. So let's go ahead and we're going to get started right now. If you didn't know already, one of the metrics we use on determining what the market is up to is the amount of properties not selling. No one ever talks about how many properties they don't sell. And like any typical realtor, everyone loves to brag about their numbers. You see it everywhere on online ads, social media, bus stop signs, the billboards. And I can say at the timing of this video, I have a 100% list to sale ratio. And it is quite shocking how many properties don't actually sell. And there's a reason for that, which we'll touch on. So let's go ahead and take a look at the expired listings in South Mississauga. There were 21 expired listings. And then if we go to our list view here and check out the stats, you'll see 131 days was the average for an expired listing, 61 being the lowest, 359 for being the highest. And before we take a look at what's on the market currently, let's go ahead and see what's actually sold in January 2023. When we look at the stats, you'll see 32 properties sold, average of 30 days on market, which is pretty consistent across the city, the lowest being 1 and the highest being 97 days on market. What this is telling us, from the sold properties, on average, you should be sold by the 35th day. So that's your sold property. Next is terminated and suspended listings. Suspended is kind of like putting the property on pause. It may come back up on the market, it may not. Terminated, it's either completely removed from the market or it's a termination and relist. So a lot of these properties will be duplicates. They could have been terminated and relisted at the same or ideally a lower price. So this is really interesting to see that 68 properties terminated. Now I want to show you what is currently on the market. And I'm going to remove January here, because a lot of properties have been listed prior to January. And of course, we're 6 days now at the time of this video into February. So you'll see here 154 results. And when we look at the stats, out of those, the average right now in market is 40 days. So a little above average. One being the lowest because it's just been listed, and the highest being 199. So this number is getting up there. A lot of the properties will need to adjust their price or they simply won't sell. And that's what I want to talk to you about. I'm a very firm believer there's a buyer out there for every single type of property. So why are so many not selling? Now, yes, South Mississauga is a little different. They're not your average type of homes for the average family. And going back to my first point of there's a buyer for every property type, it almost always comes down to price. And the price will be reflective of how well the property shows in person and online. If it doesn't look good online, chances are a lot of people are just going to skip right by it. If it doesn't look good in person, they're going to be turned off immediately, or they're going to start discounting the price in their head, which most likely doesn't align with what you're looking for. And on the other side, doesn't align with what your realtor told you. If they're telling you a crazy high price, maybe they've reduced their commission a little bit. Chances are they're doing it just to use your property as advertising. Now, why would an agent list a property without the intention of selling it? And the answer is because they will try and use the property to get a couple of other buyers that they're going to get the full commission on. Buyers have access to the same data. They'll know the house is overpriced and they're going to start looking elsewhere with that realtor. So if an agent gets another 1, 2, 3 deals, then they're okay having the property sit and not sell because they've already made their money back and then some. And that is a dirty little secret about the industry. It goes without saying, realtors love to brag about their stats. We see it on all the advertising, the billboards, the bus stop ads, social media, you name it. What realtors never talk about is how many properties they don't sell. So at the timing of this video, me personally, I'm at a 100% list to sale ratio. I'm not out here to say I'm the biggest hitter on the block. What I can say is every single seller that I've represented has sold. Why? Because we have an open, honest conversation. There's no games and gimmicks or false promises and guarantees being made. And I have lost business over it because someone will come in and tell them exactly what they want to hear. And then I see the property sit months and months and months on the market. And it's heartbreaking on my side because I did try to help them using the data at hand, and instead they chose someone who didn't have their best interests at mind. So going back to my first point, if you tried to sell and couldn't, chances are it's due to price. The buyers in the marketplace right now, they are serious, but they're not desperate. And they have access to all of this data as well, especially the ones working with the realtor, and they're going to make their decision on what is perceived to them as the better value, and working with a seller they know is actually serious about selling their house. Now is not the time to test the market to see what happens. And if you're watching this because you're thinking of selling in the near future, then take my advice, interview several agents, and don't go for the one that's willing to discount the commission and give you the highest price right away, especially if there's no data to back it up. And if the house sits for a while and it doesn't sell, well, then that low commission doesn't matter anyways. And chances are they've already got a few buyer clients that they've been able to put into other properties and not yours. So just something to keep in mind. To sum it all up, there is no guarantee in real estate. Be careful of someone telling you what you want to hear without the data to back it up. After all, a low commission doesn't mean anything if the property actually doesn't sell. If you're serious about selling, now is not the time for games. Contact details are below. Let's set up a time to discuss your real estate goals. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.